Hey, what's up everyone? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and today I have a very special item to show you. This is special if you're a Halo fan or a fan of charities, because this is a one-of-a-kind piece for the Child's Play charity auctions. And this is, if you can't tell already, this is the Cloaked Chief from the Halo Xbox One teaser trailer. We don't know if that's Halo 5 or whatever yet, but that's what this is. This is like an action figure slash statue. The auction hasn't gone up quite yet. It's going to go live later on this evening. I will update this video description with the link for that, and I'll also include a link for the charity itself so you can see what they're all about. If you aren't able to check YouTube regularly, I'll also put a little status update on Facebook and Twitter so you can check out the auction once it goes live and do some bidding and win some good stuff and help the charity. Okay, so what this is really is, it's a PlayArts Kai Halo 4 Master Chief that's been modified, and I made the cloak for him, and I made some accessory for him, and I made a base for him as well. So the base is meant to be just like the rocks that he's standing on at the towards the end of that teaser trailer. And what happens is, if you haven't seen it yet, you should go see it if you're a Halo fan, because it's awesome, even if you're not a Halo fan. But so he's walking through this desert. We're not sure where it is, and there's some kind of like rocks sticking out and stuff. He's walking through a ton of sand, and then the ground opens up, and there's this huge thing that comes out. And then he's left standing on this rocky kind of cliff thing with some sand scattered about. So I recreated that in this piece here. So let's take Master Chief off and look at that before we talk about the figure itself. So we'll set that aside. And so the base. This was made out of EPS foam, extruded polystyrene, so it's really, really stiff and really good for sculpting. So I sculpted with that. Then it was coated with a polyurethane type of rubber stuff to make it harder and to give it the right texture that I wanted. And so it's also chip resistant, and it won't flake or anything like that. So it's solid. It's really lightweight, but it's nice and solid. So that's the way I would recommend anybody build foam stuff if you're not, or not foam stuff, rock stuff, if you're not able to use resin and that kind of stuff. So that's what this is. I sculpted it all to represent the rocks at the end of the trailer. And then I added sand to it, and this sand is actually scaled down. It's made for dioramas, but it's scaled down sand. So I mixed that with some clear adhesive, and I put that where I wanted it. So it's not just sitting there; it's not going to come off. So it's on there nice and hard. It's hard as a rock, really. But then I also painted on top of that with some dry brushing, as I did with the rock surface, to give it the right effect and give it the right look for the teaser trailer. So it is, if you're curious about this sort of thing, it's 3 inches tall. It's roughly 8 inches wide and 8 inches deep. Of course, it's not just a box, but those are the rough dimensions. I also put a steel bracket, I don't know what you want to call that, fitting to hold his clear acrylic stand. We'll get to that in just a second. On the bottom, we also have a little name thing on there that says that it's the Child's Play Charity Auction Cloaked Chief, one of one by Anthony's Customs. That way you know that this is the authentic piece. If anybody else tries to make one, this is the one made for the Child's Play auctions. Like I said, he has a clear, let's get that out of the way. He has a clear acrylic display stand, and of course it's not connected to the figure permanently. It can actually come out, but I'll just leave it on for the sake of the review. And that goes in there, so that'll hold him up. If you want it to hold him up, he can stand just fine on his own. But if you want a little extra support on the figure, just in case you don't want him to take a shelf dive or something like that, he does have that clear display piece, and that just clips on underneath the cloak around his waist, so you can take that off or leave it on. I made it so that it goes under the cloak, actually, so that you can't tell it's there, except for right down there. If you look in between his legs, you can kind of see it. But so I would recommend you use it just for safety issues, but you know, it doesn't matter either way. It's perfectly fine without it or with it. Okay, so then we have the PlayArts Kai Master Chief figure, which is, I think, so far the best Master Chief figure we've ever gotten. Absolutely love the figure, and that's why I chose to use it for this piece. In the trailer or teaser, it looks like Master Chief's maybe missing part of his armor. He doesn't have the full shoulder pieces and the back piece all the way around here. He doesn't have quite as much bulk, so that has been modified on this figure to give him the appropriate look. I actually had to lengthen the neck just a little bit, and then I built the cloak with stitching and scoured all of the fabric stores for the proper fabric to use. And I think this almost replicates the cloth that they used for the teaser trailer as well as I could. Obviously that was just CGI, and they used the magic of computers to make that flow and everything the way they did. But this gives almost the exact same look. I dyed it with a few different dyes to make it the right color, and then I weathered it and cut it obviously and stitched it all together the way I want it to be so that it gives the appropriate look. And if you just do a 360, it pretty much looks just like the trailer. I mean, obviously I couldn't do it exactly as they did it just because of how, you know, they can add things because it's not physical, you know, it's just CGI. So doing it physically was a little bit more of a difficult thing to match it completely, but it's almost, I mean, it's as close as I could possibly get it, and I think it turned out pretty good. So you guys can let me know what you think. So here's the 3 layers here, you know, the top layer up here, this layer, and then the main layer down here that has the sleeves and the kind of like the bodysuit underneath. And then the hood, it's not 100%. I had to take a little liberty. I made a little clasp. We can zoom in right here. Made a little clasp for it to hold it together, and that is because in order to have it down and then also to put it back like they have in the trailer, you can just lift it up a little bit, fold it back, and then tuck it in under his chin. If I can do this in the camera, it'll be a miracle, and it worked. So that's not quite centered, but you can kind of tell how it's going to look. So you can fold the hood back just like in the trailer. When the thing sends out the shockwave, he can look up just like in the trailer. Obviously it's fully articulated still. It's the PlayArts Kai, so it's hugely articulated. And then one of the main things from the trailer was the cracked visor, which I replicated as well using some blacks and some silvers to make it look like the light was reflecting off of the crack. So he has that. I weathered the helmet a little bit. I really just tried to make it as accurate to the trailer as I possibly could. And then probably the most iconic part of the trailer is, or iconic, important, significant, whatever you want to say, is when he pulls out the, what looks like to be the Cortana chip and puts it in his hand, you know, and he looks at it and then he kind of clutches his fist. So I made a replica of the Cortana chip. It's really tiny. It's only, it's just under a 1/2 inch long, so it's pretty small. Hopefully you guys can see that. And then I found a scaled down ball chain, which is like for dog tags or whatever, to put it on. And so he can hold that and you can recreate that little scene right there. And it's I don't know, personally I think that teaser trailer was probably the best little scene we've seen in Halo so far, just because of all the potential significance and importance of Chief looking down at the Cortana chip. And so I thought that would be a nice thing to recreate, and that people may want to have that on their shelf. I know I certainly would. I wish I could make a second one for myself, but that would definitely take away from the uniqueness of the item, so I can't do that. So we have the Cortana chip with Master Chief. He's got the cloak, and he's got all of his battle-damaged, weathered armor, as far as we know. Of course, we don't know too much about it at this point, but this is what we know, so this is what I made. So there it is, guys. There is the cloaked Master Chief. I should probably tell you the height of the whole piece before we go. Let me get that back in his hand just because I like it there. Hard to do through the camera, but there we go. So he stands on top of the base, about 9.5 inches. So with the base, he's just over 12 inches tall. And like I said, he's fully articulated. He's got the little boot wraps down there. Feet are still articulated. Everything still works. I just made the cloak for him, and I made sure it looked as accurate as I could. So there it is, guys. There is the cloaked Chief from maybe Halo 5. We don't know. Halo Xbox One. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to go check out the Child's Play charity auctions on eBay. Again, the link is in the description. Go help out some kids, bid on those things. And again, thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more figure reviews, custom figures, and other good stuff. In the meantime, keep collecting.